This is John Young with the Disc Jockey News and Disc Jockey News TV. It is Sunday night. It is DJBS night. DJs talking big stuff. With the first part, we're going to talk a little bit about a couple of things that came into the office this week at the Disc Jockey News headquarters. We've got a couple of an audio device here, and let's see. There's something else here. I'll have to find it here. But yeah, we had actually here we go. We had a little audio device that came in. We had a microphone for those of you who are getting into podcasting. Going to talk a little bit about those. Then we're going to get into our final segment is going to be about Facebook advertising. We've talked about this before. There's a couple of new things I wanted to highlight and show you tonight, and we'll just talk about those in our final segment tonight. This is John Young with the Disc Jockey News. Tonight, I'm talking to you about some of the new stuff that came into the office this week. And right now, the first thing we're going to talk about is this little guy from Cambridge Audio. You can't see it much. But this is called DAC Magic, D-A-C, Magic, and it's the XS for, well, I suppose you could say because of its size, it's kind of extra small, but with the sound, we're going to call it extra sexy. It's a USB device. It comes with a little USB cable, a little micro USB cable. Just got to turn it the right way. And you plug this into your laptop, computer, what have you. The idea behind this is, of course, it's USB audio output device. It's got an 1/8-inch jack, stereo 1/8-inch jack, volume control on the side of it. But with this guy is basically a sound card, USB sound card for your laptop. Now, a lot of us have got PC laptops, and of course, PC laptops, the audio, the headphone jack coming out the side is really not the greatest. Apple usually are a little bit better, but again, they're still leaving a lot to be desired compared to an external. A lot of us have DJ controllers. That's pretty cool, but for the people who don't have a DJ controller of any sort, this guy is incredible. I plugged this in to my laptop, and I was running my sound system. I ran it. Typically, I've got my sound system through a DJ controller, which those, of course, some have really good audio cards in those, and some not so great. But it's a good quality one. Played, listened to that. Okay, great. And then I went into the headphone jack. You could hear a difference between the headphone jack and a higher quality DJ controller that you're missing something. Is that because the controller is coming out with XLR going into the powered speaker? Possibly, but I don't think that was a huge thing, because then I took this guy, plugged it in, and instead of running the 1/8-inch jack out of the headphone jack of the laptop, and this was an Apple, by the way, I plugged the DAC Magic in. Again, Cambridge Audio here. Wow, night and day difference. Just the things you could hear. I mean, it sounds like you are wearing an incredible pair of headphones and listening to this rich sound. Really, I was quite impressed with it. That was with a good quality speaker system. So I decided to do some checking. So then we went from a good quality speaker, mid to upper end speaker. We then put on more of an entry level speaker because I have some of those here in the office. You didn't notice the sound difference with an entry level speaker. It was interesting. I mean, you could tell maybe a little bit, but really, I don't think I really noticed that much difference with the guy. So then we took it. We took the little device and tried it with headphones. I started out with just a pair of inexpensive earbuds. I think these are whatever, Sony, anyway, something you buy for $25-$30 at your department store. Went headphone jack out of the laptop and then used the DAC Magic. I really didn't hear a ton of difference. Now, again, that's more of an entry-level headphone. Now, I take this guy, and I use some very, very high-end headphones, which you guys, if you watch some of my videos, we've got some high-end headphones here in the office. So we tried it with some high-end headphones. Then you could hear the difference. When you have some good quality headphones, basically, good quality sound going in, good quality coming out. When I've got this hooked up and I've got good quality coming into the cheaper headphones, I don't have good quality coming out. It's not because of this, it's because of the headphones. So if you have entry-level stuff, something like this, probably not going to be a big thing for you. But if you are, getting into the higher end and you need to have an audio card, it's a really, really cool device. I played with other USB audio devices that have been in the $40 range. This guy, I think I saw online, was around $200 or so. It's not a cheap device. This is truly for an audiophile. My guess is that it's coming in with a higher quality feed from your computer, and my thought is that it must be some built-in equalizing going on, because you're just hearing things that sounds like you've done some fine tweaking with equalizing, enhancement of some sort. Again, high quality gear. you're going to hear a difference. If you're entry level, not so much. But anyway, that was something new that came into the Disc Jockey News office this week. The DAC Magic here from Cambridge Audio. Take a look at that. But anyway, some cool stuff. So next we're going to cover a microphone that came into the office new this week, and I wanted to share that with you. This is the Icon O2. This is kind of a studio mic. A lot of us are getting into doing podcasts, or more specifically, we're recording some educational videos for our brides and couples and such, or we are now doing more Skype work, and you want to have a decent quality microphone. If you're doing a Skype thing and your microphone is really crummy, or if you're doing a laptop thing and you're getting a lot of room noise, sometimes you need to have a better quality mic. So the Icon O2 is, again, a studio mic that is a kind of a directional mic. It's literally wherever, when you've got a mic like this, you've heard some people that have gotten some mics like this, some really nice studio ones are like that. Well, a lot of these are more of a desktop unit where you're coming from the side, and it'll have pickup patterns and different things. You've got your ability, there's really only two switches on this guy, well, USB on the bottom, or XLR on the bottom, which is something I like. But you got two switches. Basically, you got a 0 or a down 10 dB, which in most configurations that I've been using, had to go with the 10 dB down. Otherwise, it's driving a little bit too hard for the USB devices, the mixers that we go into the computer with. And a second is to roll off the bass if you need to do that. A lot of applications possibly, but for my application, not so much. So what I want to do, though, is, again, this is the new guy that just came into the office, but I want to give you kind of a point of reference in this little video. We're going to compare it to two other microphones. So we're going to have the Icon O2. Then we're going to do an old faithful Shure 58. Nothing fancy, just fairly new mic. It's only been out a couple of times, so it's in good shape yet. It hasn't been beaten by karaoke singers. And the last one is actually what you're hearing me on right now is an MXL, and I think this is the 770. So that's what you're hearing me right at this moment. And again, it's very similar to the O2. The difference is this. I think this is about a $70 mic, somewhere in that ballpark. The Shure, about $100, and the Icon O2 is about a $100 mic. So first off, again, you're hearing me on the MXL. So this is me on the MXL. Okay, now we're going to change microphones. Okay, now this is the exact same setting, volume and everything, as the MXL was. I'm noticing on my board it's not giving me the input, the sound as much as the other. So I'm going to switch the setting on this to go from down 10 dB to 0. Okay, now we're at 0 on this particular microphone, which is the Icon O2. I see on my meter I'm getting a lot more. I might be clipping for all I know. I'm going to have to listen to this in a bit. But this, again, is the Icon, the O2. And again, it's about a $100 microphone, and it's in a little, I've got it set up in here, in this little vibration limiter. Okay, whatever you want to call it. Basically, it's for holding a studio microphone in front of me right here. Next, we're going to go to the Shure 58. Oh, and by the way, I'm about a foot away from the microphone while we're doing this. But now we're going to go to the Shure 58. Okay, now you see we're on the Shure 58. You'll see that there's a huge volume difference between this and the O2 when the O2 was set to the 0. The Shure 58, I mean, I literally have to get into that microphone to get the kind of volume to even get it to move very much on my my little view meter I'm looking at right here. But again, this is a Shure 58 sound. This will give you a comparison between three microphones that, well, kind of gives you an idea what the O2, which is new to the office this week at the Disc Jockey News headquarters. So some final thoughts on my microphone comparison. First off, I was really disappointed that the volume difference between the Shure and the other two studio/tabletop microphones. The Icon O2, I was really impressed with that. Actually, the sound, I think it sounded better than the MXL. It's a little tough to tell, of course, because there was a little difference in volume, and I really should be doing these left and right to get get that same sound and such. So there's probably a little bit of variation, but again, overall sound quality, I was very impressed with that. Next thing I really like about it, and I don't find this on my current microphone, which is the MXL you're hearing me on at 770, is that this has a little LED on the front of it that shows me when it has power. I don't have that on the MXL. While the MXL is nice and it does sound good and it really cuts down on the room noise, having that little LED light up is a really cool feature. So in the box, it comes with the device to be able to mount this on a mic stand. A lot of cool stuff with that. So anyway, this is something new that came into the Disc Jockey News office this week. Okay, now we're into segment 3 tonight. We're going to be talking about Facebook. A lot of you, of course, have seen some of my videos on Facebook and Facebook advertising, and of course, we do quite a bit of that, not only with the Disc Jockey News, but with the DJ side of it. And as you well know by now, if you have a page, your numbers have fallen way off. And some people will tell you that, oh, it's you buy our thing and we'll help you get. No, it doesn't work that way. In order to reach your audience, you have to have decent content, and you're going to unfortunately have to be buying ads. Sometimes you'll get lucky and you'll get something that'll go viral and you'll do pretty well with it. But by and large, most of your content now is just not being seen by many of your fans. One thing that was there and is not in Facebook ads, again, this is all about pages now. If you don't have a page, thanks for watching. We'll catch you Monday night with the Bill and Jason show, because you really don't need to hear the rest of this. But if you do have a page, one of the things that has changed is it used to be that when you were buying ads, you could find a post. Okay, I want to go to this page, my DJ John Young wedding page, that I want to do that. Then I'd find a post I want to highlight to advertise, and then I could go choose which where the people lived and what their demographic was, and I could do that. Or I could have it so I just go to the DJ John Young wedding page, and then I could have it so it would promote whatever the current top or the most recent post was. So let's say if I posted twice a day, it used to be that you could have had a limit of $10 a day, and it would promote your first post that came out for the day. Then it would promote post 2 once it came out, and then if your $10 expired and ran out of money, you were done for the day. Or it would go all the way to 12 o'clock. And then it would start the next day, and it would start with your next $10, and it would continue to promote the most recent post. That's gone, because Facebook basically now wants you to find out it literally will say, what's your most important post? You'll probably see it when we go through this a little bit, because we're going to do another ad here just to kind of set it up. But it's what only promote your most important stuff. So basically, they're telling you that a lot of your posts are going to be thrown away. Yay! Love you, Facebook. And I want to create an ad. We're going to create an ad. Now we've talked about this in the past, but there's a couple of new things here, and I wanted to show you that. Okay, so the first thing that pops up when we are going to create an ad is, what are our goals of that? Would we like to, to have post engagement, likes, website, whatever? One of the things you're going to find now is again, the game has changed with Facebook. It used to be that they would do much more helping you promote your page. Maybe that's a bad way to describe it. They would do things called page suggestions. So if I liked like Ford Mustangs, then it would say, oh, and here's some other pages that are similar. That used to be a bigger thing. It's still there a little bit, but not as much. So page likes, at our heyday with the Disc Jockey News, we had some days that we had 3,000 to 4,000 new people or new likes on it, because Facebook was literally pushing us around crazily. It was incredible. I mean, it was a ride, and we rode for a while, but now we're back down and doing things. Everything's happening like the same level with all of us. You're getting, some days you're getting 20, some days you're getting 50, some days you're probably feeling like you're going backwards 5. It really can vary. Growth is very, very slow right now, because growth is really happening due to linking and connecting with others and sharing posts, and so it's not as wide open as it was. So if you want to grow your page, this is now, unfortunately, the way to do it is you're going to have to pay and have ads and do some things with that. I personally haven't done that. I don't know, if it works that well. I couldn't tell you. I've never been a big fan of having to pay for likes, so I haven't done it. I personally do the page post engagement. A couple of times we've done clicks to the website where we've wanted to do that, but most of the time I have a post and I want that's on Facebook, and I want to do that. There are other ways to do some things that aren't, but we're just going to go with the simple right now. So it pops up, and then it gives me a list of all my different pages that I have up. So we're going to look at, let's go to Disc Jockey News TV for this one. Now here's where a little thing, if you can see that, I can see it over there. It's talking about make sure that you're boosting the most important content, because they no longer automatically promote posts. Yay. So we want to go through here, and what's different now is it used to be that that they would be in order of time. And if you can see it, you see that these are. But I'm going to actually go to the Disc Jockey News one, and I want to show you a little bit on that. Is that it will, this one in particular, because we have more posts and more traffic and more things, you're seeing that it's first going to show some popular posts. And the popular posts, earlier today when I was looking at this, it was going to a couple of posts that were a few days ago that were very, very popular. But it's the idea is that they're going to suggest a couple of posts, and then you can go from there. And then after that, it'll be in chronological order. So we can take a post. This one, say we want to do this bridal show. Jeremy Breck and I did a bridal show chat. Say we want to do an ad with that. So we get that. We can click continue. And it pops up the page. Many similarities to what we've talked about in the past. We'll scroll down a little bit. It's showing us. Right now it's showing us, of course, the ad, what it would look like. And you're seeing that there's a check by the desktop news feed. So we can shut that off, but we're going to click down to the next one. This is what it would look like on a mobile device. So in the mobile feed, so if I'm on my phone and I'm scrolling, that's what it's going to look like. I can choose to turn that on or turn that off. Now, you got to keep in mind, in today's market, today's social media world, the mobile stuff is probably 50% or higher of the users are on mobile. So the argument could be made to actually shut off the desktop one and go strictly mobile. Why would that make some sense? Because in some of the countries where if you've got a page and you've got a lot of fans, you're going to see there's fans coming from all over the world. And in many of those countries, they're not doing as much. They're using more desktop, at least from my experience. I've seen more desktop usage from those countries than mobile devices. In the U.S., it seems that mobile is really huge, and when you look at the numbers in the U.S., it's higher on mobile than it is on desktop. So it might be something that you want to shut desktop off. And then the very bottom option is what it would look like on the right-hand side if you wanted to have it in that right-hand column. Now, if Jeremy Breck's a handsome man, don't get me wrong, but that's not exactly exciting enough to be in that right-hand column when you're seeing that distorted picture of John Travolta, or you're seeing the picture of the whatever, those things in the right hand. So I'd probably, in this particular case, remove the right column one, turn that off, and maybe even go as far as remove the desktop one. But we're not going to do that. And I'll actually just turn this right back on. We'll just add it just so we can do it. Continuing down. Here is, now if you've developed that custom audience and you've been doing it for a while, and you've got a few, you can actually go and choose the audiences right here and put it up, and it will give you the numbers. I don't want to do that. One of the things I don't like about it is it automatically, no matter where you're from, I'm just gonna clear this. It puts it that within 50 miles of your home. And you know what? There's very few times I'm wanting to advertise within 50 miles of my home, but I could. So in this particular area, there really isn't as much. The custom audience is a cool one because we can utilize that information we had before, and we can really target those people. Let's see. What else is there in there here? I don't know if there's anything that's really, really majorly different in this particular area. Some of the behaviors is new. I haven't been able to find. You can look at it and play with it a little bit. You can, the people who are and again, you can read it. The people who are across the internet just using mobile devices, so you can actually target mobile devices. Or you can go with a specific operating system. I believe you can go iOS. Yeah, you can just do certain devices. So again, it can help to define what you're doing. From a DJ perspective, I don't know how helpful that is. Getting the people who have clicked through to your website and have engaged your website and into an audience, I think is a helpful thing. Being able to target people in a specific geographic location that have certain likes and certain tendencies. Again, maybe is targeting women who are women who are using their mobile phone and are into iOS, and you can do that. And maybe you target them with an Apple flavored ad. I don't know. There's just, you got to be creative. You got to be thinking and trying different things. In the last 2 weeks, we've been running 2 different ads at the same time to 2 different markets and 2 different demographics, to explain it, the lack of a better way to describe it. And we've been able to take those and compare what worked, what didn't, changing some things, what worked, what didn't. It's really a trial and error thing. And about the time you think you've got something figured out, then Facebook will change something. So anyway, audiences is kind of cool. some of the new, a couple of new things, good and bad. But again, it's their game. It's Facebook's world. We're their playground. We're just there. We got to put up with it, or we got to find the best way to do it. So, anyway. Up next, we've got my good friend Brian Redd. Good evening, Brian.
Hey, John, how you doing?
Hey, doing well, doing well. And how are you doing in the big city of Milwaukee tonight?
The big city of Milwaukee is rainy and cold, but we're nice and cozy here in the dungeon tonight.
In the dungeon, that's a great place to be. It's just so uplifting and fun.
Oh, yeah, it is. Absolutely. There's things down here to do.
Yeah, so. And we've seen some, you've shot videos of the dungeon, and things to do and just things to be in awe of with your crate collection and the gear on the walls. It's like a man cave for DJs.
It's a man cave for DJs. I spend hours down here doing a lot of different things. Sometimes it's actually work related. Sometimes it's just for fun, but it's all related to DJing and what we do. So it's all good stuff. It's a fun place to be.
Yeah, nice.
If you walked into my house, if you ever come over to my house, when you walk in the door, there's nothing that you're going to see unless I just got a shipment in that tells you that I'm a DJ. I don't have like posters of, things on my wall. ADJ isn't spray painted on the ceiling. You've got to come into the dungeon to figure out what I actually do for a living. So that's a criticism I got from my family. They said, wow, you walk into my house, I'm into hot rods because I have a case full of NASCAR and all that stuff.
Sure.
But I walk into the house, I'm like, what does this guy do? When you come downstairs, it's like, oh, wow, that's what he does. So it's very secluded from the family. I can keep that separate.
And that's a good thing. A good thing.
I think so.
Yeah, that way you can have your family time. But one of the, you spend a lot of time in the dungeon there, and you've got some new projects you're going to be kind of getting into here. Maybe not completely new, but some new exciting things coming up here. Let's talk a little bit about those.
Well, what I've done over the past several years is do streaming broadcasts for DJs. And what I have never done is been consistent with it. It's just something that happens here and there.
Yeah.
And I'm really interested in doing more with that, both independent, when I do whatever my thing is, and with Disc Jockey News. So John and I have talked, and it looks like you might be getting a show for me once in a while. I don't know how often we going up once a week, once a month. I don't know.
Once a week, if we can.
Wow, that's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, okay.
It's a lot of work.
I'll do it.
But
do it.
We're looking at the schedule, and we think that 9:30 on Thursday nights could be the Brian Redd show, the time for the Brian Redd show. I think it would be awesome.
I think it would be fun. And I've been investing time in trying to figure out microphones, what sounds better. What I had before, I didn't realize how bad it sounded until I saw one of our broadcasts on YouTube. So I've been trying to put time into to make myself sound a little more, hey, how you doing? And it's been fun. I've learned a little bit about compression and different types of microphones. And it's really been a learning experience. And I'm getting there. I know it's not perfect, but I'm getting there. And it's all just kind of part of trying to provide quality content, even though everything we do is kind of punk. It's kind of like not scripted and it's whatever. But I want to make it as quality as possible. Yeah. And this is part of it right here. This microphone, I got a boom for it and go all over the place. The only problem is I'm going to have to make my family shut up upstairs because when the compression's on the microphone, you can pick up everything. Every time somebody sneezes upstairs, you hear it. Like here, I'm going to type something on my computer. So you can hear that. It's really loud because it picks up everything. When the furnace kicks in, it's like, but the only thing you can do to avoid that is do like an isolation room. Neither here nor there. Yeah. It's an improvement either way. So, and I think on our show on Disc Jockey News, it's going to be about whatever the current events might be. It could be equipment that's being released. It could be a trend. It could be a lot of things that are DJ related. And it's going to be just kind of a talk thing. And maybe, we'll bring in special guests, which I'd love to do and get their perspective on things, because I think that's where it gets interesting when you learn what other people's, takes are on whatever when it comes to DJing. I learned so much when I DJ with other people and even talk to them at shows or whatever. That could be a real good thing we could do in here. But I really want to reach out to anyone watching to find out what you would like to see me do on the Disc Jockey News broadcast on Thursdays at 9:30. What do you want? What would you like to see?
Yeah, and if you got some ideas, you can put those in the comment section right below this video, and we can take a look at those. And yeah, we always love ideas of what people are wanting to see and spend their time watching, and that's a great thing.
I can fill a half hour. If you ever talk to me on the phone, I can fill a half hour. Just, it's not a problem. But what I'd like to do is fill a good half hour. So, put some thought into it, have an outline of, what I'm going to do that evening and vlog about it a little bit, maybe show you some things.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. I think we're having a fuzzy camera on my side because we're bouncing to like nowhere, Minnesota, almost Canada.
Yeah, exactly.
Then out to you in space. So you'll probably get a clearer picture of me. If not, maybe we'll do camera upgrades. We'll do whatever we have to do to make it really nice and clean and interesting to watch. So
yeah, and again, we're as Brian said, we're back and forth with signal between Milwaukee and here, and we're the video's been kind of flaky a little bit. Yeah, it's just kind of being a little weird, but we've got our audio.
Atari 2600 there. Yeah.
But when we're doing the shows
Atari
on
2600.
What's that? Oh, we broke up.
My picture looked very Atari 2600 there. Very pixelized.
Okay, see,
like I was in a version of
that's the second
Adventure or something.
The second generation of Atari. I think it was the I had the first one. That's all I could get.
2600 was the one everybody had. Everybody had 2600.
There was a second one then. No, I'm off.
There was a second one. Was like was it 2600 and 2800? I don't know. Whatever the one was that it like you got like. I don't know. What was the dumb game you got with it free? It was like I can't remember my video games. But you get dumb games and you had like Pac-Man, but it was like the ghetto version of Pac-Man. And then you had Asteroids, but it was a ghetto version of Asteroids. It wasn't as cool as the uprights. The one everybody had, the 2600.
Yeah, that's right. It'd be. It's been a long time. I was just thinking. All I can remember is playing Space Invaders on the 2600. And getting a million points on it, and then I think that was one of the last games I ever played on the one night. It's just sat there for hours and got a million, and it's like, oh, well, that wasn't that exciting.
I guess I'm done. It's over.
It's over. Nothing gets again.
We got really excited about little squares and things back then.
Yeah, exactly.
My picture tonight.
Yeah, it's kind of pixelating a little bit. Yeah. So that'll be the first segment now at 9:30. Now you're talking about having another session a little bit later in the evening. Tell us more about that second session you're going to be doing now, which will be not on DJN TV. It'll be a different because of. Well, tell us more about it.
Well, it's like I was saying earlier. I haven't been disciplined with doing broadcasts. I've done them and I really enjoy them. But one thing that we're not able to do, unfortunately, which is my favorite part of this whole thing, we're not able to do it on YouTube. We're not able to do it on Facebook much. Is really talk about music and get into it. What I love, my fantasy was always to be a radio jock. Mm-hmm. I never did it. I did it on college radio a little bit, but I always wanted to do it. And I've been told that, I whenever I, do my little demo tapes that I did a good job, but this is my opportunity to be the radio jock. And what I want to do is I want to go on, I want to play tunes, I want to interact in the chat room and do those kind of things on a separate broadcast, on a separate what do you want to call it? A provider.
Yeah.
Be it Ustream or live stream or somebody stream, where we can literally do like a radio show, playing tunes, chat room interactive, and archive it all so you can watch it later. Yeah. My shows are supposed to be like an hour and a half long, maybe 2 hours. If anyone's ever seen any of my broadcasts, we've gone 5 and 6 hours on them. We do an official, for real, we do an official record and do like more. So it's all right. So we just keep going. And I've gone 5 to 6 hours before.
Wow.
And I'll get sleepier and sleepier. Nobody sees this unless they're watching live because we don't record it. But I'm like half falling asleep and I'm playing records and stuff. And on the desk, we've got turntables. We can do vinyl. We can do MP3. We can do anything with music. And we can even talk about, and one thing I don't do on my live broadcast with music, I don't talk about mobile DJing, and I don't talk about gear.
Sure.
I want to talk about music, and I want to talk about other things that we're not covering for the most part. There's nothing more annoying than when I try to start a broadcast and somebody pops up and says, hey, why don't you tell me about the new Monster Beam? It's like, you know what? That's work. That's the day gig.
Yeah.
We do that all the time. Let's talk about what's on the charts right now. Let's talk about what's hot. Let's talk about what you like. Let's talk about what I like, or let's talk about what's going on in Sweden right now that we're not hearing, that maybe we should be hearing.
Yeah.
That's the fun stuff for me. And that's what I love. And so it's fun. A lot of this stuff just becomes work after a while. This is fun.
Yep.
And maybe, after the, Disc Jockey news broadcast, kind of a more formal broadcast, maybe we go into more of the informal broadcast. We go into music, and I'll provide links or whatever where you can join me 15 minutes later or whatever. I want to try to find a provider that doesn't have a lot of commercials, whatever. Still working on that, haven't perfected it, but that's what I want to do.
Yeah, so that sounds great. Sounds fabulous. I think that'll be kind of an exciting thing. And for those of you watching tonight, again, any ideas, put those down in the comment section below for us. We'd really appreciate that. Or you can go to Facebook and you can message Brian and share ideas and such.
Always. I'd love to get some feedback from these broadcasts. Just let me know. I mean, even this one, hey, I saw you on the show. You mentioned this. I was going to ask it. Please reach out anytime.
Yeah, exactly. It was great stuff. And we'll be getting all this information. We'll be announcing when the shows will be starting and have linkage and everything for you. So just keep an eye out on the Facebook pages, Brian's Facebook page, the Disc Jockey News Facebook page, DJNTV's. All of them will be getting that information out as soon as we are up and ready to roll.
Can you hear Blanca walking around up there?
And she's not that big of a woman, so
she's tiny, but still. This is like a 110-year-old house, but you can still hear her walking around up there.
Good stuff.
Gonna have to like, I'm gonna give her $10 to go down to Starbucks and hang out.
That's not gonna work very well.
Probably not.
Well, Brian, thank you very much for coming in and sharing some of these new and cool things. We're really excited to get this all in the hopper and get things going.
I'm looking forward to it, and stay tuned. Give us your ideas. I love feedback. Let's make these the best broadcast possible.
Sounds great. Thank you very much, Brian.
Thank you.
Anyway, that's it for tonight. Thank you for watching. If you get a chance, go to djntv.com and you can see our schedule of the week. We've got shows Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. A lot of great content. Monday night is the Bill and Jason Show, which is the podcast moved to video on DJNTV. Great time. It's DJs talking about stuff that interests DJs and just having a lot of fun. It's a low intellectual investment. Let's call it that. But it's just a good time. Check that out. Monday nights at 9:30. We've gone to 9:30 with all of our shows now because that seems to be a better time for people. Tuesday night is Tuesday night with Ben Stowe. We've got a great show. Actually, the Tuesday night with Ben Stowe this week is going to be Ben and Jason Jones. Jason Jones will be sitting in for me, and they're going to be talking about some of the cool stuff down at the Electro Voice headquarters in Burnsville. So that'll be Tuesday night. Wednesday night, we've got Nick from Chauvet. Nick Harris is going to be with me from Chauvet next on Wednesday night. And then Thursday night, we will have Mobile Music Thursday with Jason Jones and talking about what's working on the dance floor and then talking to some, I think he's got he's got a guest. I'm not sure exactly who he had. I saw it, but I forgot. Anyway, that's what happens when you get old. But again, thanks for watching. Comments, put them in the description below, or in the comments below here, below the description on YouTube. Put them on our Facebook page, whatever works for you. We appreciate the comments and any feedback. And we'll see you tomorrow night with the Bill and Jason Show. Good night.